Hello friends, welcome to this episode of Blossoms and Bourbon. My name is Mark. Welcome to my shop, Creative Occasions, and to my workroom. It's awfully exciting to have you here to be able to share with you two things I really love, flowers and bourbon. Tonight we're going to do an English garden design, which is just a beautiful, especially we're in spring right now, and it's just a beautiful arrangement for this time of year. And then we're also going to be tasting a new to me bourbon called Toasted Oak, and it's from the Blue Grass Distillery in Midway, Kentucky, I believe is where they're located. So without further ado, we've talked a lot about mechanics. We've talked a lot about different forms of mechanics and how you can make your arrangement stable and how you design the arrangement and what goes into making the arrangement. This tried and true, old as me, is chicken wire. This particular chicken wire is plastic coated so that it's much friendlier in the water to flowers. It, as you can see, has that nice mesh pattern to it if you're not already familiar with it. And what we're gonna do is just kind of create a little dome shape and smush it down into this container. I love using technical terms like smush. And so that's gonna create this little network of compartments and holes that the flowers are gonna go into. There we go. And you do want to kind of, use some caution with not squishing it too much, because if you do, then you're not going to have room for your stems of the flowers when you insert them. This container is fairly small in the scheme of things, so it's not going to hold a bunch of flowers. You'll see how many we get in there. But anyway, just use some caution when you're putting the chicken wire in so that you're not taking up too much room for stems. Got to add water so everybody's nice and happy in the pool. And who would have thought that that container held that much water, right? All right, so in English garden design, it's a very classic kind of design which is based on a mass form. Now, the best definition for mass is there's gonna be a lot of flowers in here, okay? And typically with a mass arrangement, we're concentrating more on the form rather than the line. Like in the previous episode when you saw us use the armature, that was very much an arrangement about line. The parallel arrangement that we did and the vertical arrangement that we did, those very much are focused on line. This English garden style is very much focused on form. And so you'll notice as I'm working through flowers that I'm using a lot of flowers that are rounded that will kind of enhance that form, that sense of form. See, already the chicken wire is working, so that's a good thing. Let's get some of these out here so I can get to them a little quicker. When the hydrangeas come shipped into us, they have this protective plastic on there to kind of keep the heads from getting damaged, which is awfully nice. Just takes a little while to get them stripped off and ready. Here's a tip for you people who love hydrangeas but are frustrated by them. When you cut your hydrangeas and you take them inside, take out of your spice cabinet your jar of alum. Alum is a product that is often used in making pickles. It's a white powdery substance. And dip the cut end of the stem in the alum. Then put the stem directly into kind of lukewarm water and let the flower hydrate for several hours. And here at the shop after that, then we cool them. So we put them in our walk-in cooler and they get nice and chilled off. Then, very often, if we're designing in foam with a hydrangea, we will actually take the stem, dip it in alum again before it goes into the foam. That alum really does work to keep the hydrangeas nice and crisp. That's what it does for pickles, so that's what it does for the flowers as well. We have had flowers last, hydrangeas specifically, last up to 2 weeks doing that, and it's a great trick that I learned from another designer years ago, and that I'm happy to share with you. right. So this really is about the form. It's just about taking on this kind of lush, kind of full look. I've reached a point down there where it's tough to get that chicken wire. There we go. One thing else that's true about hydrangeas is the more leaves that you leave on the hydrangea, the more energy and water it will take for the bloom to stay fresh. So if you're interested in a long shelf life with the hydrangeas, a long vase life, strip most of the foliage off. That will really help. I will also tell you, relative to like when we start grooming the roses that go in this arrangement, I am not a fan of super grooming. I don't like them to be too groomed. I like for them to look like natural flowers. So these happen to be called English garden roses. So what better fit for an English garden style arrangement than an English garden rose, right? This particular variety is called White O'Hara, and it has that tiny little hint of blush pink in the center. It's absolutely gorgeous. Brides who are doing blush weddings love this flower. And by grooming, when I was talking about that, I'm literally just pulling the guard petals off. We've talked about guard petals, but I want that full, beautiful look in there. If you want it to be a little more open, just give it a little puff of air in the center and it pops right out. Don't forget, as we're going along, if you guys have questions, I'd love to hear from you. So be sure and post your questions in the comments below the video. And please like the video, please like me, and please subscribe. We'd love to have you come back for every future episode. Would be great. All right, another one of my favorites. This is called Mother of Pearl, and this rose is just stunning. I mean, these don't even look real. They're just so pretty. I may pull that petal off right there because it looks a little damaged, but otherwise I just love that, so I'm not gonna touch it. Okay, here's what I'm looking at so far from the front. I'll let you stare at that side for a second. I'll work on the back. The English garden style was really one of those styles that has significantly influenced what we think of as Southern style. So you see this type of arrangement a lot in, sort of classic Southern events, Charleston, Savannah, Atlanta, places like that. And it really is very lush and beautiful. You'll also notice that I'm working the edges. As I'm putting the flowers in, I'm primarily doing that around the edges. I'm leaving the center open for now. And part of that is because I know that those edges are gonna fill up fast with that chicken wire. So in terms of how the mechanics of this arrangement works, it's gonna be much easier to do this and then pop some blooms in the top later, okay? Because yeah, I've done it a time or two and yeah. Also, one thing that's kind of hard for some younger designers is it's a difficult thing to know about stem length and when you're cutting stems. So if you have this flower, let's do it out here, and you want it to be positioned there, it's gonna be impossible to get this stem to bend and go all the way down into the bottom of the vase. So unfortunately, one of the things we're gonna have to do is just cut this stem a little bit shorter. So if you know that, you sometimes have the tendency to cut it even shorter, and then you've created an issue because it's too short. Let's see how I did. Oh gosh, now the pressure's on, Jason. Yeah, it was too long. But, as I said before, you can always trim it. You can't always put the length back on it, right? There we go. All right. Are you as crazy about those mother of pearls as I am? I just absolutely love those. So tell me, what is your favorite rose? Do you have a favorite rose variety? If you do, share a picture of it and put it in the comments for the video. I'd love to hear what your favorite is. All right, I'm gonna have to stop with the roses soon. I love the roses so much, I just wanna keep putting them in. All right, tulips. One thing that I did not say to you earlier about English garden design is that typically with a true English garden design, the flowers that are in the arrangement are all available in that geographic region and also available in that season. So we should be looking at types of flowers that grow seasonally together and geographically together in order to make this arrangement style work. That is in the strictest sense of the word. And if you know anything about me now at all, you know that I don't function that way. So make things that please you. I don't know the name of this variety of tulip, but we got tulips in this week, and there were more of this color than any other color in the boxes. And I was so delighted because it's such a pretty shade of pink. My wife happens to like pink, so probably some of these are going home to her. Because you know, brownie points. Can't ever have too many. All right, so most of the flowers, in fact, all the flowers that we're using so far are form flowers. There are no line flowers in here at all. However, the way that I'm putting the tulips in is definitely creating line in the arrangement. Let me spin this around for you. Can you see how that creates a line? So that visually your eye kind of moves out from the arrangement. So even without using a line flower, we've created a sense of line and also movement in this arrangement. Yeah, I'm really liking this. I'm just gonna take this whole thing home to Debbie. All right, one more tulip. And then the pièce de résistance. So one thing that often happens with English garden design is native branches. And we happen to be so fortunate right now to be having cherry blossoms in bloom and crabapple and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna add just a little hint of that to this. Again, a little more line that we're creating with this, which is okay. Kind of opens it up a little bit. And all these little nubs I definitely want off this branch before I put it in, because I know what's happening with that chicken wire in there. Oh yeah. Okay, let me take a look here. Need one more. Sorry, I need to see the front for just a second. Then I'll be right back to you, I promise. Never throw this away, okay? It's a little stub that's left, but it's got those gorgeous little blooms right there. Yeah, I think I kind of like that. So And relative to mass design, I did say this to Jason earlier when he was asking what we were going to be featuring tonight. I said a bunch of flowers. They're really, this style is known for the fact that it's a very lush and sort of prolific style with lots of product in it. You know, we got one more, so we're gonna have to use it, right? Right. Bourbon is calling. Okay. Let's see what you think. Looks like spring, it feels like spring. English garden design, sort of a mass design focused more on the form than the line. I think we've met that criteria. We do focus more on the form of this arrangement than we do on the line, although there's definitely some line in it because I was working on it. So what can I say? That's what I do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll try that. Try it at home, take pictures, send them to me. I want to see what you're doing. All right, so up next, Blue Grass Distillery. I think this is a fairly new distillery in Midway, Kentucky. This is actually their toasted oak bourbon. And this has been aged, it says it right here on the bottle, 3 years in the charred oak casks, charred American oak casks, made in America, so that's why we call this bourbon and not whiskey. Then after that 3 years, it's taken out and it's put in a toasted oak cask. And according to the bottle, it's left there for 21 days. And that is how they designate this as a toasted oak product. So this is also a new bottle that I picked up on our recent trip to Kentucky. We did not visit this distillery, but gosh, look at that caramel color. I can tell I'm already gonna like it. Beautiful color in the bottle. I understand that bourbon has legs just like wine has legs, and that's one of the things that you can check when you're swirling it in the glass. It's beautiful, it's got a great color. Mouth open just a little bit, remember. So caramel, a little bit of caramel. Now, just like I reminded you in the last video, when you're tasting, your first taste should be just to kind of wake up your mouth and to get your mouth ready for the fact that there's alcohol coming. So we'll have a sip of water, then we'll get into the real taste. One of the gentlemen who was hosting one of the tours that we took at a distillery told us that, and I had never heard that before, but it totally makes sense. Boy, there is definitely like a fruit element to that, like berries. Yeah, definitely berries. And then the finish is kind of in the back of your throat. You know, sometimes they kind of sit and they kind of melt in the center part of your mouth. This one definitely is at the back. It's a little bit of a spicy finish, and it's very nice and warm. Beautiful. Well, folks, that wraps up this episode of Blossoms and Bourbon. I hope that you have enjoyed English garden design. I hope that you will enjoy this toasted oak from Blue Grass as soon as you have an opportunity to try that. And I hope that you'll enjoy being back with us again, because we look forward to having you here on Blossoms and Bourbon next time. Thanks, we'll see you soon.